Okay, we got probably my most controversial gaming opinion from Josh Strife says. Okay.
And this is probably my most controversial gaming opinion. I don't like the reboot God of War.
I think this is a great little intro that he should do anytime he wants to have an opinion, period. It doesn't matter if it's controversial or not. Just preface it with saying, this is probably my most controversial. You should do that. You don't like the new God of War? I mean, I haven't even played that shit yet. The one where he's like, boy.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. I think it's well made. I think voice acting is stellar. I think the design of it, objectively, I can actually appreciate as being very high quality.
I mean, it wasn't one of the main critiques of the game. Like, the combat is good. You just fight a lot of the same enemies. I mean, I don't think that's too controversial.
But you know what that game isn't? It's not God of War. It's a very personal, interesting, beautiful story of a dad connecting with a son with, the kind of godly backdrop.
He probably wants more DMC style combat and story but with the overlay of like the old style God of Wars.
But when I played the original God of War 1, 2, and 3, that character was Kratos. I genuinely think what happened was they had built the new God of War game. They were worried that it wasn't going to do very well. And so they just slapped the God of War branding onto it. I really think that's what happened. Because when
They made a new game with a new type of combat, and they just slapped the God of War on top of it. I mean, the combat is very like different than the other ones. It's more like akin to like DMC, or at least the old DMCs, Devil May Cry's. I think if the Devil May Cry combat guy were to come on over and make God of War, or the next installment of God of War, I think he'd probably really like God of War again. Just try to figure out how to, do all your little weapon swaps, get like a new weapon, with like the spinning, what were they called? The hell blades or whatever with the chains.
When there was suddenly crafting and there was suddenly special moves and suddenly all of that jazz, I'm like, no.
Oh, did they have crafting? I mean, did they, what are they called? Did they add, what do you call it? The item rarity colors bullshit of like white, green, blue, purple. Did they add that to try to extend like gameplay and try to add like meaning into the game? I mean, that's not meaning when you just get a better weapon and it does the same combo. All right, a good version of that is Monster Hunter Wilds. That combat is awesome, but that's only because the monsters are awesome in that game.
The Leviathan axe, is a very cool weapon, but it's not the Blades of Chaos.
Blades of Chaos.
Bring the Blades of Chaos back. Assassin's Creed, I feel the same.
But no shit. If you're gonna bring up Assassin's Creed did the same thing. Those game, but like, look at the dichotomy. Okay, you had Devil May Cry. You just have the weapon. This is the weapon. These are the moves. These are the combos. All right. Then look at like Assassin's Creed or God of War. They're just gonna add their, like, you do more damage when you get the green one. You do more damage when you get the blue one and the purple one. All right. I remember back in the day for Assassin's Creed, like the early ones, like the Ezio trilogy, when like a regular throwing blade just one shot a dude. That was like the most OP shit ever. What you did was, if you ever were to get like just like guards after you, you climb up a building, and what you did you have a full stack of like throwing blades. Um, you know, you're like jumping from roof to roof or whatever, and then you look for a point where there's like a little board, a little like a 2x4, and you like quickly bounce across it, and then you quickly turn around, and then all the NPCs just ended up doing follow the same path, and then you just do throw and blade, insta kill, throw and blade, insta kill, throw and blade, insta kill. That was the coolest thing. I thought I was like a super assassin. Like, oh, I out AI'd the AI. I had a problem and I figured out the solution. That's the best thing. Always have throwing knives. They just insta kill. But I would imagine I haven't really played any like modern Assassin's Creed. The last Assassin's Creed I played was Black Flag. After that, I'm just like, not for me. Yeah, there was no white, green, blue, purple rarities to the crafting system.
Sometimes you can just take the name of a game, the name of a franchise which has been built up to be synonymous with a specific gameplay style, and then you can change the formula so much that what you're actually doing is relying on the name of the franchise to carry the risk you've taken with the style.
You're relying on the name and the reputation. All right? And it's not wrong of them to do it because people do this all the time. Look at Snakers. Not everybody does this, but one thing how people buy sneakers is they buy them based off the make and model. All right? This is a Jordan. This is a Nike whatever. This is an Adidas something. It's like I am super attached to Nike. I'm super attached to Adidas. All right, that's just a name brand. I'm super attached to Balenciaga. Video game developers trying to lean on that marketing concept of like the name will carry us. It doesn't work. I mean, it kind of works sometimes, but the risk can't be like that great. But it's two different audiences, man. I mean, well, I can't really say that either because like gamers are just as retarded as the people that buy like brand like really expensive like shoes and shit. You know, because if they were smarter, we wouldn't be stuck in like $80-$90 game hell right now, and every free to play game has like umpteen billion microtransactions. So
it's why I'm also not a big fan of Breath of the Wild. It's not that I don't like the game. I think Breath of the Wild as a video game is an exceptional video game.
I never even played Breath of the Wild either. I'm just not a Nintendo bro. Meh. And it looks like I'm not going to be especially a Nintendo bro in the future with the $450 console and $80 digital, $90 physical games. What a joke. And they don't even go on sale.
I just don't think it's an exceptionally good Legend of Zelda game. Because to me, when someone says, this is a Legend of Zelda game, there is a language of game design. I've tried to explain this to people before. There is a language of game design where certain game elements become synonymous with the thing. For example, if I say to you, hey, let's go and play Tekken 9.
I think, and Tekken 9 was the one that like started to branch off and do like the modern and classic controls, or yeah, modern controls. When you say Tekken, I think big ol' list of moves: left punch, left kick, right kick. Either Jin Kazama or Kazuya with the little jump twisty kick, or the Jin Kazama, or Heihachi with like that little fucking Shoryuken punch thing. That thing it comes out super quick, but the movement is super annoying. Whatever. Side scroller, 3D arena. You know, you can dodge foreground, background, like and towards your opponent, away from your opponent, versus something like Marvel versus Capcom 3. Awesome fighting game, jump, regular jump, super jump, bread and butter combos, light, medium, heavy, launch, medium, heavy, throw it down, and if you want, throw like a special and a super in there, quarter circles, half circles, all that jazz. Certain gameplay aspects are just like synonymous with names, or yeah.
You may have never played Tekken 9 before, but if you've played Tekken 1 through 8, you can probably guess what Tekken 9 is going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to guess it's normally going to be a 1v1 side-facing beat-em-up, because the name Tekken actually contains mechanical information about the series itself. It's become synonymous with that. Devil May Cry.
Also, Jaws is looking good with his like little fitness journey. He doing the black sleeveless. That's a good choice. It just is.
You know what you're going to get when you buy a Devil May Cry game, because it's pretty much done a similar thing the entire time. Assassin's Creed started off in Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 as pretty much a stealth-based game. Now,
for the most part, stealth-based, yep. I always thought Assassin's Creed was like the best version of stealth that you could do during the day in old-timey times in a different country. You know, blending in with the crowd, shoving people. You know, they had the puppeteer system of like lethal hand, non-lethal hand, running button, and then head button. That's how they described it. Very cool.
Now it's open world action adventure. It's not a bad game.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the name Assassin's Creed has now lost all connection with any real mechanic that it would, you know, conjure up in your mind when you said it.
I think this is maybe like an old gamer thing. Because what if you're a younger person and your first interaction with Assassin's Creed was like something that just came after like Black Flag or something, and that was your first one just because the graphics look better and you assume it's like, oh, better graphics, better game, you know, something like that. Like you never, like for me to go back and play, like my thoughts and opinions about trying to go back and play, I don't know, like an NES game, like it's really hard to do because the graphics and the gameplay is just like so weird, wonky. It's like, or maybe even going back and playing a PS1 game, it's like it's weird, it's wonky. It's like, can I go back and play it because it looks so like dated? Maybe, but I mean, I simply choose not to. Some people you will meet, and they will be, you know, younger people. They will not have their first interaction with Star Wars is episode 7. That's their first interaction with Star Wars. That's their first one. And then once they saw 7, 8, 9, maybe they go back and say, oh, I want to go watch episode 1, 2, 3. And then, oh, that's where it all came from. Or maybe, depending on how they watch it, maybe they have like a good set of parents, and they're like, oh, you got to watch episode 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. And then you just most of the time just don't even bother with the shows. There are people that, as time goes on, that haven't seen Predator, haven't seen what do you call it? Terminator 2. They haven't seen like a lot of those old what do you call it? They haven't seen original Aliens. All they know is just like modern Aliens. And it's like, oh, how could I go back and watch that OG, the first one? It's so dated. I wouldn't enjoy it. All right. Those people exist.
Remember Doom 3? When they pretty much moved away from the fast action pace of Doom and tried to make it a slow burn horror game? And then suddenly they did the reboot of Doom 2016.
Oh,
which
yeah.
was brilliant. Fast-paced, super glorious, super gory,
Yeah.
action kills everywhere. You say Doom, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's what we all liked. So the reason we get onto this is because when someone says to me, hey, there's a new God of War game coming out, I pictured it being like God of War 1, 2, and 3. It was not. And there's got this Chains of Olympus, but we're not going to worry about that. And when someone says, oh, there's a new Assassin's Creed game coming out, I don't know what it means anymore. There's a new Legend of Zelda game. It's not going to be Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. It's not going to be the Spirit Tracks. It's not going to be Oracle of Ages or Seasons, two of my favourite Game Boy games. I just ultimately think, and this might be a boomer take of mine,
Possibly.
that games companies are designing video games that have so many systems within them because they believe more systems will appeal to more players.
More systems appeal to more players? I would think the opposite. More systems mean it appeals to less players, because the more systems there are in the game, that means the game is kind of more complicated. Like, chief examples, like ARPGs. You compare D4 to PoE. One has more systems, one has less systems. But I think you're referring to the more systems, but the more systems are bad, and they're not like well thought out. Because if the systems were good, then I don't know if we'd be having the same conversation. Like, there are more systems, but the systems are also bad.
They don't realize that actually, when you have every system in a game, it appeals to fewer people because it doesn't hyperfixate on a niche that you want to capture. They just think throwing more ingredients into the pizza makes it appeal to more people, when what it actually does is put more people off, because then they'll start to find an ingredient that they don't want. But companies then realize, oh man, we've thrown every ingredient into this game. We don't know what the game is anymore. It has no real identity anymore. How do we give it an identity that people are going to buy? How do we make it less of a business risk? I know, we'll slap a franchise name on it. That's why modern games annoy me sometimes. And every time someone says to you, oh, no one wants turn-based games, Baldur's Gate 3, Expedition 33. Both of them contenders for Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3 won it, Expedition 33 probably should.
I think I gotta give turn-based games a try. I really need to. I've been, like, avoiding them like the plague. Because I'm just like, the last turn-based game I played was, like, Final Fantasy X. Alright, it was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But that was when I was, like, in like middle school. Like, I tried to play XCOM, and I got through like the first couple missions, and I'm like, this is boring and stupid. I hate this. I was like, I hate turn-based games. But I don't know, maybe I gotta give them another shot.
Turn-based, tactical, Final Fantasy style game. Absolutely banging game. Brilliant game. It just irritates me. It irritates me that game designers want to design the best games they can. This is not game designers' fault. This is business's fault. This is suits' fault. Executives' fault.
Business.
They see video games making a ton of money, and they think, well, we've got to have crafting. Well, we've got to have this, we've got to have that, we've got to have the other, we've got to have everything. They put everything in, and you end up, as someone said in the chat, mixing every single color together and making brown.
Oh man, I mean, I'm thinking of like all modern Assassin's Creed games, or a lot of just modern Ubisoft games, period. All they do is copy paste. And then also sports games do the same thing, but with less effort, if you can imagine that.
It just makes grayish. That's what it is.
Grayish.
That's why, again, this all comes back to Tomb Raider. When I bought, it was either Shadow of the Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider or something of the Tomb Raider, and the first part of the game was a tutorial on stealth, on hunting, on crafting, on, you know, creation and collection, and I just thought, when I buy a Tomb Raider game, what I want is a game where I raid tombs. and do jumping puzzles. That's pretty much it. It's the jumping puzzles. But no, the jumping puzzles, they weren't really there anymore. The slop, you know what, in old school runes...
The people that are like using the word slop, I think are absolutely hilarious. That's like the new, what do you call it? Funny bad word when people are just pissed at something. That's slop. AI slop. That's Ubisoft slop. I mean, I think modern day, like, you know, those not Assassin's Creed, Tomb Raider games, they more closely resemble what was the male version of Tomb Raider, Drake's Fortune. I think that was like the main competitor that those guys were trying to like go against. And I don't really remember crafting anything because I think I did play one of those Tomb Raider games with whenever she's like young and she had like the bow and arrow shit going on. I was just like, oh, is this what Drake's Fortune is like? Okay, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'd probably agree with him that like crafting, the fuck am I crafting? Lara Croft doesn't craft. She just takes. She just takes legendary level items and just shoots bad guys. She wants to donate the items to a museum. The bad guys want to sell it on the black market for money and personal gain. All right? That's literally the Tomb Raider to me.
Skip terms, perfect. The slop of compromise. That is an item in, I want to say, it's the cook's, not cook's assistant, it's the following on from that Recipe for Disaster, isn't it? Where you're trying to make the goblins agree on what to eat and you just mix everything together. That was the one.
Oh. I think he's not wrong. I'd probably agree with him on most of those points. He literally said nothing controversial to me. But then again, like, I think Josh is like an older guy and I'm like 35, so we probably have similar gaming opinions. Also, he's getting into working out. I've been working out, so yeah. It's what do you call it? It's irrelevant, but whatever. As far as like game titles trying to branch out and do different types of gameplay, modifying their core gameplay, yeah, I mean, but what are you supposed to do as a smart consumer? You're supposed to tell the game dev on what you want by voting with your wallet. You watch a review of it, try to figure out whether or not you like it or not. I mean, you could do like a goodwill thing and just be like, okay, yeah, I saw the review. I saw the gameplay. Maybe it's not what I wanted, but I'll give it a shot to maybe I'll change my mind. And then you'll have an opinion on it, whether you liked it or you disliked it. That will be there. And then when they make the next game, like God of War 2 or whatever, Boy 2, then you can figure out, do you like this new like wave that they're trying to ride? Or if you don't, just be like, okay, yeah, the same combat. Oh, okay, I'm good on it. I don't need it. Okay. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I mean, I've been doing that with a ton of games that have been just straying away from their roots. So, yeah. Overall, cool video. And you should probably do more, probably my most controversial gaming opinions. I'm looking forward to my most controversial gaming opinion, 69 video. Yeah, overall, good stuff, man. Keep it up. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.